Hello and welcome to part 2 of my September 2018 Blu-ray update video. Yes, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 titles to talk about. So let's try and get through them as quickly as possible, because I thought I could do this all in one video, and just the Poundland titles took me forever. So if you haven't seen that first part, go check it out, and then come back, and we're back in the room. Okay, so a few new releases. This one is not really that new. Well, it's kind of new. It's not old, but it's not new. Somewhere in between. And it is It. Connie bought this, actually. This is probably the only time she's gone out and specifically bought a film on Blu-ray, because she was dying to watch this again. I bought her the book a couple of weeks ago and she's been reading it, so she wanted to go back to this. And she's like, "You got it right?" And I'm like, "No, didn't buy it," you know. And she's like, "Oh." So we've been trying to find it in local shops, so she eventually just went out to the nearest big town and bought it, and we split it naturally. But yeah, so this is a nice little slipcover with the balloon with a nice glossy effect there. Watch some of the special features; they're really good, and not many of them, but they're pretty good for what they are there. That doesn't make real grammatical sense, but you know what I mean. So this film, we revisited it, and we enjoyed it very much. I really do enjoy this film. I still think the clown stuff doesn't hold up as well as the first time cinema viewing, purely because people were losing their absolute ever-loving minds in the cinema whenever Pennywise was on screen. It was half annoying, quarter endearing, and quarter thrilling. Like, you know, it was really exciting, but for the most part a little bit overbearing. Like, people were just howling in fear, in faux fear, I think. So watching it again, it kind of felt a little bit lesser than it was, just because it was such a big cinema experience. We saw it like on the opening weekend, I think. But you know, the kids are what really sell the movie, I think, and that's, you know, that's the main characters, of course. But it's so enjoyable. I love the actors in the film who portray the kids, the Losers Club, and I think it's an exceptionally well done film, very well made, and I just really enjoy watching it again and again. It's been the third time watching it now, and very, very, very enjoyable. And seeing the behind the scenes has made me appreciate the film a little bit more as well. But I've really become quite a fan of it in general. Like, the first time I ever saw anything from this story was this movie in the cinema. Then I saw the 1990 miniseries, Stephen King's It, and I really enjoyed that. And then we watched it again in the 24-hour movie marathon this year, and I loved it then. And so I just need to read the book now, and the circle will be complete. The next one I have is a brand new release, actually, and this is the Sainsbury's exclusive edition, and I saw it, believe it or not, in Sainsbury's. In fact, the next 3 titles I'm going to show you are from Sainsbury's, and I was like, huh, I didn't realize a Sainsbury's would do these kinds of titles. So usually, like, we have a local Morrison's, and they just do like Avengers, Thor, Ant-Man, Captain America, Black Panther. It's all a Marvel movie. That's all they sell. It's ridiculous. Or like The Greatest Showman, I think. So I was surprised to go to a nearby Sainsbury's and find that they do kind of more interesting Blu-ray releases. And it's always nice to buy something in person, in hand as well. Anyway, so this is a Sainsbury's exclusive edition of Mary and the Witch's Flower. Loved this film. Most people agree this is a very beautiful looking and sounding movie, but doesn't have much substance as far as the story. And for me, I can see where people are coming from, but I really, really love the story. I don't think it's a fantastic film. Don't think it's like up there with Studio Ghibli, but it's within punching distance. It does feel very derivative of Miyazaki's work, but then the guy who made this kind of has worked with Miyazaki for like decades, so it only makes sense that the guy who you probably see as a mentor would influence your own work as well. That's how kind of art usually works. But a great debut, I think, from Studio Ponok, and I can't wait to see what they do next, and hopefully kind of continue to carry the flag of what Studio Ghibli had been doing for the past, 30 years. With their great films. And yeah, it's not quite up there with Studio Ghibli's best, of course, but I think that it's a great step into a new territory for this studio, and I really, really enjoyed this film. And I did a review of it if you'd like to hear my further thoughts. but I definitely wanted to grab it with a nice slipcover. There was a steelbook edition, but this was, I think, £12. So, you know, I thought I'd save £8 and just get, I mean, it's the exact same artwork, you know. I didn't love the film enough to want the steelbook or anything, so yeah. And then this other title, I never would have expected to see in Sainsbury's because it is an Arrow Video release, and it is Heathers. I'm probably going to do a separate video on this one because we watched it a couple of nights ago. I'd never seen this, and I'd seen bits of it when I was a kid. There's some shocking scenes, I think, in this film that I saw snippets of on TV, and always kind of had this view of this film being a very dark and adult movie. When you watch it, it doesn't quite play out that way. I mean, it does in a way, but there's very dark elements at play here. Very dark comedy, I think. I don't think, I know. It's a dark comedy. Of course, it's black humor at some of its finest, I think. There's a lot of biting social commentary in this film that you could almost kind of apply to today's society in a way. Very smart film, very funny at times, and just a total 80s blast in the face. Like, I love 80s movies so much. Like, you see all these films that people are making these days that are trying to evoke the 80s, or Stranger Things, or, you know, all these movies that are now set in the 80s, and you just feel the influence of the people making these films and TV shows, putting their own kind of childhoods into these stories. And it's fun, it's enjoyable, but nothing quite compares to an actual movie made in the actual decade of the 1980s, and this one fits right in that group, I think. But I will make a separate video about this. Very nice Arrow Video release with different artwork you can swap out, and some really cool special features, from audio commentary to lots of new interviews with people who were involved in the making of the film. Unfortunately, nothing from Winona Ryder or Christian Slater, but yeah, really enjoyed this one, and I'll probably do a separate video on it and talk more about it in its own right. And finally, from Sainsbury's, is a box set that I've had my eye on for a very long time, and I'm not going to preamble on this one. Let's just show you what it is. It is the Bruce Lee The Master Collection. So this has all of Bruce Lee's films as far as I'm aware. I'm no expert. I have one of Bruce Lee's books that my dad gave me, and growing up, which I talked about in my film stories video, my dad had the Bruce Lee movies on video, and I mainly just watched The Way of the Dragon, which is a childhood favorite. Enter the Dragon, of course, I've seen and really enjoy. But I haven't seen, I guess, Fist of Fury, The Big Boss, and Game of Death. And I really am a complete newbie when it comes to Bruce Lee. And this has 4K restorations. I know there's some controversy, there's some kind of debate over a yellow tint on these films and so on and so forth, and the Shout Factory versions are apparently so much better, but I'm not a huge fan to want to go and buy all those individually. This was a really good price for a box set that was like 50 quid for a very long time. Almost dropped it there, which I wouldn't want to pay. So I got this at a very good price considering you get 5 movies. There's like a couple of like documentaries about Bruce Lee on there. There's 12 hours of special features. So let's take a look at the individual movies. I really appreciate that they did this and licensed Enter the Dragon from Warner Brothers, I'm assuming, and they ported over the 4K re-release of Enter the Dragon, as far as I'm aware, because it is the exact same cover. So I hope this is the new disc of Enter the Dragon. I think it is, because it says on the back that all of them come from 4K restorations. So yeah, so I hope it is anyway, but I used to own the original Blu-ray of this, and this one has loads of special features. Anyway, so Enter the Dragon is there, and I have no idea about the order of when these were released or anything like that, so we'll just go from the way they appear in my hand. Game of Death, which I believe is the one he's not really in because he died, and there's only like 10 minutes of him or something like that. Let's have a look on the back, see what it says. It doesn't really say, actually. Oh wow, there's an audio commentary with Bay Logan. I'm sure that's going to be incredibly informative and really interesting. Man, these are absolutely brimming with special features, documentaries, interviews, featurettes, trailers, fighting seminar, 40 minutes of footage edited as a literal interpretation of Bruce Lee's original plan for the movie. And then we have, this is the one that I grew up with, Way of the Dragon. I know these have different titles as well, but yeah, I'm really excited about watching these films, in most cases for the first time, and also revisiting the ones that I've already seen. Again, just so many special features. I mean, you got like the synopsis for the film there, then all the special features there. I didn't realize these were that packed with bonus material. So yeah, I love this one. Bruce Lee versus Chuck Norris, awesome. And then we have The Big Boss. Not as many special features, but still quite a few. And then finally, Fist of Fury. Isn't it like Fists of Fury, and then there's just like so many different titles. I don't know the any of the background on it. So I'm not sure if these have, yes, English, Cantonese, Mandarin. Okay, so I'm going to kind of call upon my viewers here, anyone who has a knowledge of Bruce Lee movies, to let me know what's the best way to watch these films, because I grew up with the English dub, which I believe was Bruce Lee doing his own voice on Way of the Dragon. So, oh, hang on. Game of Death has English, and that is all. So there isn't a... No, so that's interesting. So this one only has an English version. The rest all have Cantonese and Mandarin options. And of course, Enter the Dragon is in English. So yeah, let me know what the best way is to watch them. Is it the English dubs? Is it the Cantonese? Is it Mandarin? I really don't know. My mind tells me the Cantonese is the original Bruce Lee. I don't know. I'm not sure. So let me know, and I'd love to kind of have some knowledge on that before. I mean, I could look it up online, but it might be more interesting and interactive if you guys told me what the deal is as far as the languages go with these films, the best way to watch them, because I'll definitely be doing something with this box set and talking about these movies in the very near future. So I'd appreciate your insight. Next we have a steelbook, which adds to a collection I've had for many years now, and this came from a wedding. I was at a wedding a few weeks ago of one of my best friends, and I was one of the best men, and I didn't even realize that we were going to be getting gifts. So there I was, sat at the head table of the wedding, and the speeches are being made, and the groom said that you know, that I'm very interested in collecting movies. The 24-hour movie marathon got a shout out during the wedding, which was hilarious to me. But he also said he'd like to add to my Blu-ray collection, which was a really nice gesture from him. And it was Black Panther, the I guess the Zavvi steelbook. I'm not sure if this has the 3D. It does have the 3D, which, you know, I'm not that interested in anyway, but there's always like a 3D version, a 4K version. And this adds to my Marvel Steelbook collection. So now all I need is Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. And I have everything from Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, onwards in Steelbook form. I'm looking forward to this one for the audio commentary and whatever they have as far as behind the scenes goes for this film. I really loved this film. I'm looking forward to revisiting it, especially because I've only seen it once and it was in 4DX. And there was a group of people behind me, the entire row, just talking throughout the entire film. Like they paid a premium to go to 4DX and spend £15 to see a single movie and talk throughout the entire fucking thing. If you've seen Black Panther, you know there are these moments where it's about family and loss and purpose, and you have these emotional moments with the characters where they're going through a lot of stuff. And it's very quiet, and it's just the characters talking about their emotions, and they're just talking behind me. Couldn't care less about what was going on screen. Yeah, so just da. But despite all that, I still love the film, so I just can't wait to see it without those distractions. And it's a really nice looking steelbook. Haven't opened it yet, but really glad to add this to the Marvel steelbook collection, and kind of hilarious, but really nice that I got it from one of my best mates at his wedding in front of everyone. That was kind of cool, I thought. Now, the grand finale. These two Blu-rays I'm so excited about. These are two Criterions, US Criterions, which is interesting because I still feel like a US Criterion is something to get really excited about, as opposed to a UK one, which you can easily buy in a shop, you know. So I bought these two off eBay from the same seller. I don't know whether I should tell the story. Maybe it's not my place. But we'll talk about this first one first. This and both of these I've wanted for many, many years, so I'm just really, I'm ecstatic to have these in my collection and can't wait to watch them again. I've seen them both before, so I have a little something to say. This one I watched in my very first 24-hour movie marathon, and as soon as I finished watching it, I knew I wanted to own it, and I'd always wanted to pick up this version. There is a UK Blu-ray that I almost bought a couple of times because I really love the film. But to get this one in the collection, it's spine number 3, in fact, very kind of early spine number in the Criterion Collection. The Lady Vanishes by Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, what a film. I've only ever seen this on a 2-inch screen, which is an interesting story. But if you've seen the original 24-hour movie marathon, you'll know why I watched it on a 2-inch screen. So not only do I get to watch this film again on a TV and in a proper kind of setting, but I get to see it in high definition. And this is a great Criterion Collection edition because it has an audio commentary from Film Historian and a 1941 feature-length film, a feature-length adventure film, starring Basil Radford and Norton Wayne as Charters and Caldecott, their beloved characters from The Lady Vanishes. There are these two kind of comedic side characters in The Lady Vanishes, and they get their own movie, like a spin-off movie in 1941, which is on the Criterion edition, which is awesome. And there are excerpts from Francois Truffaut's legendary 1962 audio interview with director Alfred Hitchcock, Mystery Train, a video essay about Hitchcock and The Lady Vanishes, and all the other usual stuff as far as the booklet and essays. But mainly the film about this woman who gets on a train and she meets an old woman, and then the old woman vanishes and no one seems to have even seen her or knew that she was on board. I am all in on movies that are set on trains, I have to say. You know, you could set a really bad film on a train, I'd still enjoy it somehow, because there's something about, maybe it's the spirit of going somewhere that kind of, I don't know, there's this kind of weird energy about going on a trip, going on a journey. And train movies just seem to capture that, just by the fact that characters are on a train together. So I love train movies. This is a movie that is mostly set on a train, so I love it for that. But it's a really good mystery film too, and it's a Hitchcock film at that, so very well made. And I'm just dying to watch this one again. So, and I love the cover artwork. It's so cool, and it has the Blu-ray sticker on a kind of resealable sleeve. So the person who sold this to me, or I guess I'll tell you the story, was a collector and very precious about keeping things in good and pristine condition. So, the final Blu-ray. I guess I'll tell the story. You know, you're not going to know who this person is. I don't want to kind of betray their confidence in any way. But I bought this Blu-ray from them, from the seller, and I was really happy. And I saw they had another Criterion that I really wanted. So I bought it and I sent them a message and said, can you package this nicely for me? Because I know it's a digipack release. And I don't want it to be damaged in transit. I'm a collector, and you know I'm really excited about this one. So if you could just make extra sure that you know it's packaged well. And a woman replied to me and said, "Yes, of course, that's fine. I'm glad that you're looking forward to receiving this. And I'm glad it's going to a good home, because it belonged to my late husband, who was a collector and was very particular about things being in pristine condition as well. So she knew all about that." And I just felt like such a prick that I'd sent this woman a message who'd lost her husband, saying like, "Oh, make sure that DVD's packaged well," you know. But she was very nice and sweet about it. And when I received it, it was bubble wrapped and really nicely protected, and had a little note there saying "enjoy." So that was just a really sad but kind of nice thing. And so I'm glad that it is going to a good home where it will be appreciated greatly. This is another film that I watched for the first time during a 24-hour movie marathon. And this is one of the old dual format Criterions. So they were doing like DVD and Blu-ray releases, and a lot of those were digipack releases. So this actually has a UK Criterion now, but it's just in a standard plastic case. But I really wanted this one because it's really nice. The artwork is so cool. So without any further ado, it is mostly in its cellophane wrapping still. So obviously the guy who owned this would just kind of slit down the side and really try and protect these as much as possible. It's a mad, mad, mad world. Now, I should also mention that I got The Lady Vanishes for something like, I think, £14, which was great. This I got for £10.50. I placed a bid on this one for like £15, and I thought that it'll go above that, and I just forgot about it for about a week. So this is just an absolute steal. And this is a crazy film, as you would expect from a film called It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I was first kind of like made aware of this film by James Rolfe, who is the Angry Video Game Nerd. This is his favourite film of all time. He's talked about it on numerous occasions. So just the fact that it was his favourite film, a guy who I really look up to as far as a filmmaker and storyteller, I really wanted to see this. So we watched it during 24-Hour Movie Marathon 3. And we watched the extended roadshow cut, I think it's called. It should say on the back here. Yes. The 197-minute extended version of the film, reconstructed and restored using visual and audio material from the longer original roadshow version. So we watched the version that kind of had like stills where deleted scenes would be and stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing this just in its original theatrical, or like the the version that doesn't have like the added kind of bits and pieces where they've tried to reconstruct it, but just full flat out watching the film with just normal scenes. I'm looking forward to that very much, and that would be 163 minutes long. Maybe the shortened length might make it a bit more enjoyable as well, but I love this film. It's about these very different people who come together in search of this, is it gold, is it money, is it treasure, does it really matter? There's apparently this money that's buried in a certain place, and so everyone is racing across California to get to it. It's a big road movie, lots of characters, lots of hilarity, lots of hijinks, madcap stuff, and it's incredible, and there's just so many great comedic performers in the film. Now the edition itself, is so nice because it has the slip box, and oh man, I just love it. So we have the title there, and if you fold this out, I mean it's something else. I mean, you get this amazing artwork, but also what I think is really great, in fact I need to kind of pull some of this stuff out so it doesn't all fall everywhere. You've got like an illustrated map of the route and everything. You have a really nice booklet featuring images and writings on the film, but this is really cool. It's a mad, 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 mad world. I mean, that's just hilarious. I think that's kind of like a joke unto itself that they would put that on all the discs and on a really long fold-out digipex. There's 2 Blu-rays, I believe, and 3 DVDs. So it's a film I'm just, really, really looking forward to revisiting. Yeah, so there's 3 DVDs and 2 Blu-rays. So there we go. It's a mad, 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 mad world. I think I've got that right. and just, so happy to add these 2 Criterions to my Criterion collection. And that is it for my Blu-ray update for September 2018. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know down below your thoughts on any of the films I've shown, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.